age of rock music that we're currently in, where so many bands go on these multi-year farewell tours, only to come out of retirement just a few years later and go on another farewell, I think fans often make the assumption that they're going to be able to say goodbye to their favorite bands. But as we know, there are many bands that we don't get to say goodbye to and don't get that proper farewell. And unfortunately, it looks like Faith No More, the genre-bending rock legends, are one of those bands. Now, a few years ago, the band were slated to go on a big tour when they abruptly canceled, and we heard that this surrounded vocalist Mike Patton not wanting to tour anymore, dealing with some personal issues, and now we've just gotten an unfortunate update about the future of this beloved band. Is Faith No More done for good? It's the question fans have been asking for over 4 years, ever since the band abruptly canceled their 2021 reunion tour. Since then, we've gotten conflicting messages, silence, and clear frustration from different members. But now, we have the most definitive and disappointing answer yet, coming straight from co-founder and keyboardist Roddy Bottum. In a brand new interview this week promoting his upcoming memoir, Roddy was asked if he would even consider playing shows with Faith No More again. Obviously, millions of fans, myself included, would love to see that, and his answer was blunt. He said, "I don't think so. No." Now, when pressed for a reason, he didn't just blame schedules or creative differences. He said, quote, "It's not just me. I don't think anyone's sort of up for it at this point. I just don't see it happening again, honestly." Wow. Bottom added that he feels the band, quote, "did a really good job with their past reunion tours and did what they set out to do." He acknowledged that getting back together would mean a big paycheck, but he said, "I think all of us are pretty good with what we did. I think we're all pretty good with the decisions that we've made up to now." Now, if you're wondering why he's saying that no one's up for it, it's a little bit harder when you understand what happened back in 2021 with the band. This all goes back to those canceled shows. Now, the official reason at the time was Mike Patton's mental health. But last April, as we discussed here, drummer Mike Bordin gave an incredibly raw interview that exposed just how deep the internal damage was. Bordin revealed the band had been rehearsing instrumentally for 6 months for that tour and sounded phenomenal. Then, just 36 hours before they were supposed to be on stage, with the gear already on trucks rolling to Chicago, Patton was a no-show for the final rehearsal. Bordin made it clear the band supported Patton being unable to play, but his frustration was obvious, especially since Patton has been playing sold-out shows with his other band, Mr. Bungle, so it's hard to understand his explanation for not touring. And that's when Bordin dropped this bomb. He said, quote, "He's gone from being unable to do shows to clearly being unwilling to do shows with us." And that's heavy. That's a big difference. It honestly kind of hurts my feelings a little bit, but that's personal. Now, to be fair, Patton has been open about his struggles. In 2022, he confirmed he'd been diagnosed with agoraphobia during the pandemic, which was mixed with depression and heavy drinking at the time. Patton said the idea of doing the Faith No More shows was stressful and that he kind of lost it and freaked out right before rehearsals were set to begin. He even admitted, "If I were them, I'd be really pissed off at me." And they were. And they probably still are. When Patton was asked back then about the band's status, his response was only radio silence. And that radio silence seems to be the real issue. Billy, the band's bassist, was asked about the situation back in January, and his answer just showed total confusion. He said, quote, "I don't know. I honestly don't know. I get different information from people, and I'm in the band, so when Roddy Bottum says this week that no one's up for it, it sounds less like simple creative fatigue and more like a final admission. So it sounds like that damage from that abruptly canceled tour at the very last minute back in 2021, the complete lack of communication sense, is just too much to fix in their eyes. Now, I must say, if you really step back and look at this, yes, they did cancel a tour at the very last minute. But I don't think that this is one of those situations. Like, you can kind of tell when a band's really never going to get back together. These guys are not old. They're not, unable to perform live. I think that if they were able to get in a room and communicate and really work out whatever issues they have, which I think it seems like Mike Patton feels like they're just pissed at him and he just doesn't want to deal with that sort of animosity. And I think from the other guys, they just want to understand better. And if they were able to start things on a clean slate, I think that we could be seeing Faith No More playing shows. And I really hope it happens because they're such an important band in rock and metal. And such a great band, the way they blend genres together. They have such a loyal, dedicated fan base. I think it could happen if the right opportunity presented itself. So many festivals out there I'm sure would love to have them. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled. But as of now, it does definitely sound like it's a possibility this could be the end of Faith No More. But as we've seen many times before, never say never. But let me know what you all think down in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe with notifications on for the latest news and updates right here at Rockfeed.